Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the final word. Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 at Hill Dickinson on Saturday. Disappointing result. Only because we had the opportunities to win. Villa were amazing on the day. We had the opportunities to win. In our last 3 o'clock at home on a Saturday for quite some time, till November, I think, isn't it? So, how are you feeling a couple of days after? I was disappointed walking out on Saturday because it was just felt like a missed opportunity. Yeah, that's why.
I was disappointed afterwards, but I wasn't like wanted the world to swallow me up or anything. Disappointed. I was just disappointed. I think disappointed because I feel like we've come a long way in terms of expectations, but also didn't want to go overboard with it. I still think Villa are a decent team who just haven't found their rhythm yet, and I think again it's one of those games that sort of shows where our issues are, which is still, you know, I think in the final third we've still got a little couple of worries, and also I just think the makeup of the team has to be right for us to be at our best, and I don't think we're quite there yet. We haven't got certain players playing.
Yeah, fair comments. David Moyes in his press conference on Friday, of course, sort of hinted that Mykolenko could well play, and there was a doubt over Ndiaye, but how it all played out was Mykolenko was nowhere to be seen, but Ndiaye started. We did say on Friday we thought Ndiaye'd start, but we did also think Mykolenko would start, but he didn't. So it meant James Garner going back to left back. I know some people are a little bit disappointed with why he didn't just play Adam Asanu there, but it was James Garner that went back to left back, Timmy Rabunum back in midfield. And do you think that affected the way Everton performed in terms of, even though Everton were the dominant team throughout, it did hinder the way, certainly the way we've been playing, particularly at Wolves, albeit Villa are a much better side than Wolves.
Yeah, I think with Debutants coming in and not having James Garner sitting, I think not having that number 6 to just sit in and protect, I think that stopped Hall from doing what we saw him do against Wolves, which was get alongside Jack Grealish and go past them and open up the space, and we saw that for the third goal at Wolves. I did think we missed that a lot, and you're playing at home, and I think we saw that against Brighton, that Dewsbury Hall had played against Brighton was not the same Dewsbury Hall had played against Wolves, just having that little bit more space and a little bit more ability to go forward. So I think that's where we missed it. Timmy Rabunum isn't a number 6, he's not a sitter, he's nothing like that.
Yeah.
That's not his natural game at all. He's someone who wants to move around, and I think having that anchor in midfield is so important. We've not really had someone like that for a while, who just sit in and do that job. Just because we've had the core 8 for so long, and that changed the style of play, and Carlos Alcaraz as well, back in the last season. So I think having that number 6 really does free our attacking players up, and I think that's what was missing. Of course, not having a proper left back as well hurt us as well, but I don't think it hurt us as much as Garner playing in there.
We did start the game really brightly, and we should have scored in the opening couple of minutes. And Jai sent Luca Dean the shop and raced into the box and cut the ball back, and Betto's got what looks like a tap. Maybe a tap-in's a bit too thingy, but it's a really good chance. If he just connects properly, Everton are winning 1-0 in the opening couple of minutes. Different game altogether. Then Villa have got to come out a little bit. We'd have been buoyed by that, but he kicks it from one foot onto his other foot, and it goes wide for a goal kick. And they're really moments against good teams like Villa. They're your moments that you have to take, because it sets the tempo then for the rest of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was such a gilt-edged chance, wasn't it? It was such a big opportunity to get yourself 1-0 up so early in the game, and it didn't even look like that hard a chance, and he's made it a hard chance, hasn't he? He's just got his feet all wrong, and yeah, that was like the story of his day, wasn't it? From then on, really, anything in front of goal, he was, I don't know, maybe that got into his head early. Maybe if he put that away as a completely different day, I don't know, but yeah, he's he's I think we all know. I think we all know sort of Betto can be.
He's hit and miss.
He's an instinctive striker in areas, but sometimes you just think, my God.
But they're just moments, aren't they? There, I mean, Illiman and Jai last season, 9 goals and no assists in the Premier League, 11 overall. If people are passing up opportunities like that, the poor lad's not going to have any assists again. Because what more can he do? He's done a great bit of skill. He's got away, he's got in the box, he's rolled it square, and Betto just has to go 1-0, and we're buzzing. Jai's up and running, and Everton could potentially there take the game away from Villa simply because they're not in a good run of form. No. And when you're in that little bit of a slump, you go behind that early. The tendency is to go, here we go again, and feel sorry for yourselves. And we saw that certainly in their last game against Palace, when Palace beat them 3-0. They went behind and couldn't quite get themselves back into it. It was a big moment, that. But I thought Everton did continue to stay on the front foot, and we had moments where really good passages of play, just the final ball wasn't there. We had an opportunity where we nicked the ball back in the box, and Idrissa Gana Gueye has a shot that he should hit through. He tries to side foot it and it breaks back and the ball goes in, and Betto has a header. Martinez makes a brilliant save, and then it hits Luca Dean's hand, but it's offside. So counted anyway. We had the Grealish moments, the volley which deflected, and Martinez makes a really, really good save from that. We've had headers off corners that have gone wide. People haven't reacted, like Tarki on the far post, and he might have had a tap in. And there was lots of those moments in the first half and Jai in particular having a really good half against Luca Dean.
Yeah, we huffed and puffed, didn't we? But I don't think it was like this team's still trying to find, and I can understand because it's early days. It's still trying to find its identity and what it's good at. And I think in the first half, what was good was we were using both flanks, and Jai was very productive on the right hand side, winning the ball back really high up and then running at them and running inside and capitalising on the space, and then Grealish on the other side was doing exactly what you'd expect Jack Grealish to do. I don't know whether I think this was probably like not just for the first half, for the entire game. I don't know whether Jack's been indoctrinated so much at Manchester City that you're waiting for everything to be perfect rather than just throwing a ball into the box at times, because I do think that's the one thing that maybe isn't in his locker right now, and I think should be, and I think it's the easiest thing is now and again and it's weird because we saw the first game of the season against Brighton, the first home game of the season is, I think now and again I'd like to see Jack just throw a ball into the box, and if there's no one in there, or we don't do the right thing when it comes in there, that's on us. That's not on him. And I think that's maybe where the sting started going out of the game a little bit, was Jack taking a touch and then sizing the defender up, and then they get 2 against 1, and then maybe him not finding that yard of space to put a ball in. So I'd definitely like to see him just, as soon as the ball comes, either have a shot or just put it back into the box and see what happens. I think that's just the one little thing that my only little gripe with him is that. I mean, he can do what he wants, obviously, but I think that is a thing where I think we as a team would get a lot more joy out of it, because I just don't know whether we're ever going to have those kind of players. He's never going to have that. He's never going to have Haaland. He's never going to have De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva making those late runs. We're never going to have that. I think that he has to create opportunities just by simply putting it back in the mixer.
No, I think there's some validity to that, because we did play a bit slow at times, and I don't know whether some of that was, and this is not a criticism of James Garner, who I thought was excellent, but him not running beyond Grealish. So when Grealish is facing them up and doing the little, he's the cat and mouse with the defender, if he had an overlapping fullback where he could just play him in, because we did see that with Dean, even though it didn't really come to anything. We've seen so many occasions with Luca Dean where it has come to things, but the fact that he was so high and does go beyond the winger, therefore it's a simple pass into his path and he puts a good ball in. James Garner didn't really ever go beyond Jack Grealish, so it's almost, he does almost stop the ball and stand there waiting. But there was moments where he could have just got a shot away, or like you say, just throw it in early and just say to players like Betto, you've got to get on the end of it all, and Jai coming around the other side. But Everton were the dominant team, there's no question about it. I mean, even just look at the stats at the end, and Everton have had 34 touches, I think, in Villa's box compared to 7 in Everton's box. So it shows you how dominant Everton were in the box. But it was those moments. We don't shoot enough and create that little bit of space on the edge of the box. It's still sometimes the shot's on, we'll hesitate and then we'll play it wide.
I do think as I said before, I think it's a work in progress. I think Michalenko, the managers decided it, you know, or the medical staff have decided. Obviously, we don't know how severe it is.
No.
But if they've decided it was 50-50 and they've gone, we can get through today. We need him actually for the derby next week. You know, we know he's good when he plays up against Salah. So we've put James Garner in there. Now, it would have asked a lot to have said, right, we're going to put Mail and Roll straight into the team. But it was, without skipping an edit, evidence how quickly he brought him on in the second half, that he obviously has a lot of confidence in him. So it is fine. Asnu being back on the bench is one step away from saying, right, he maybe in a couple of games' time would have played left back. Now, this is a lad who came into pre-season in America and then has had injuries and then played an under-21s game. Hopefully plays another under-21s game this week. I think that would be ideal. And then is building up in training and playing against first teamers, so that you look at him and go, no, you're starting. Because again, this is something that I was quite consistent on during the summer, is Everton have to get away from moving players out of position, because I think most squads other than a couple aren't like huge. They aren't like huge. But it's more quality over quantity. But what you've got to have, you've still got to have a couple of players per position, and know that if the first one isn't playing, the second one isn't playing.
That's the player.
The problem is, as I said, in that number 6 role, we haven't got anyone. Now, whether Mail and Roll can play that position, we'll wait and see. But it's too early to know yet. So it is early days, and it's a case of getting through the next couple of weeks, or even it might even get into like the Wolves. We've mentioned a few times, haven't we? The Wolves game is big in terms of that's where maybe an Asnu can play. That might be Mail and Roll's first 90 minutes. That Tino Barry back into the side. Alcaraz back in. You know, those players who've been on, Dwight McNeil. Brantwaite, who knows? Who knows? We're not 100% sure. And Nathan Patterson or a Seamus Coleman. And Jake might go back to centre-back. That's a game. Again, there might be that many changes, and it mightn't be all those players, but it's an opportunity.
But they should all get game time.
It's an opportunity where the manager has to go, I need to have a look at these and start knowing who can do what, so that we don't get too many more situations where if Michalenko isn't available or anyone isn't available, we know who the backup is. Again, this is the thing about bringing players in early. If you can bring players into the transfer window early, is already knowing and already having enough game time and pre-season that you know that that player is ready to fill in, whether it be Asnu or Mail and Roll or whoever it is. But the problem is we don't have that, and I don't think too many teams in the Premier League have that advantage. I think you get up to almost like the next international window before most squads in the Premier League are bedded in properly. So it was what it was. I think if Michalenko had played and Garner played in centre midfield, I think we win that game because of the way we play is slightly different. So it's just about being patient, not like losing our heads over why isn't this player playing, why isn't he? The manager's still being, you know, we've got Tyler Dibble in there as well, we haven't even mentioned. We've got players there who the manager is still looking at and assessing, but it's in real time now. It's in real time, it's in season. It's everything you do now, you are taking a chance when you bring them on the pitch, and if you're not 100% sure on that player or what that player is absolutely brilliant at, what can you do?
Again, it's I'm going to go overboard. They're a good side. They haven't started the season very well, and Everton have started. The Leeds first 45 was absolutely dreadful. You know, it really was. I don't think you can overstate how bad that was, but they got a grip of that game second half, and since then, even though we went on to lose the game with a contentious penalty, since then they've been good. So can't really complain. It's just it just felt like that game was there for the taking, and Everton did in the first half, got themselves into good positions, and it is that, you know, Betto, another one of James Tarkowski, long ball over the top, long pass, because he seen him make the run and he went, brilliant run. And if he just gets that down on his thigh, Mings didn't have a clue where he was. He's gone in behind. If he pulls that on his thigh, he's in on Martinez and he just smashes it past him. Well, no Martinez, he'd have saved it, but at least he has an attempt on goal. And who knows, he could have stuck that away and we're winning 1-0. There's the breakthrough that we needed, but he didn't. It hits his thigh and runs out for a goal kick. And it's like, you aren't going to get better opportunities than that to get away. Yeah. You know, you're going to get away from a centre-back once or twice in a game. So you better be having your first touch almost perfect, and you have to work on that and work on that. And that was another opportunity gone. Okay, you might get on the end of a cross or flick one in, but though where you're running off someone, it only happens once or twice, because they then have to make sure the goal side of you every time. And it was just those two errors in that first 45 from him, those two moments where you looked them and two big opportunities there. You know, and Martinez, like you said before, has made a fantastic save with his foot. I want to know what happened to Mark Bizot. Mark, who went on the bench, Emery, just, you know, said he was done on one, and Martinez was back in. No, Martinez is a good goalkeeper, isn't he? So he was always going to come back in. But we had stretched them with that, and we got to half time, and it was like, okay, let's come out and raise the tempo a little bit, because the game is here. I wasn't sure whether Villa could sort of step it up a little bit. They looked a little bit like a team with no confidence, trying to just grind the result out. And I suppose they only really had one moment in the second half, and it came very early on, where Buendia has a shot and it hits Tarkowski in my position. It looked like it took Pickford out, and I'm thinking this is just going to drop in, and it dropped wide. But Everton had the chance before that, and again, Betto should have scored. James Garner puts fantastic ball into the middle, and he's owned his body up. Gets any connection on, it's 1-0, and it's an air shot. And it's those moments, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean, it's different. It's Betto's in a different position this season, isn't he? He's now the de facto number one striker. He took the number 9 shirt with him.
I don't. Maybe Everton should be tired than that.
No, it should be given to like the absolute specialist of the specials. It's a special number, and I just don't think it should be handed out to anybody. My opinion.
Well, the last two maybe shouldn't have had it, but still.
Yeah, it's 3. 4.
It's been a while, let's say.
He's in a different position now, because when he was coming off the bench and he had something to prove, and he's smacking the ground, he's getting all emotional. It was like everyone backed him, but now he's the number 1, and now he's like, you're missing the chances, lad. You're going to find that the lad who's on the bench, who cost 30 million quid, that is a prospect that needs given game time, will be given the game time, because the manager will assess the situation and go. He said it in the aftermatch. He said, when he was asked what's the difference, he said, well, one's scoring goals, one isn't. And he just said, but if he goes, if you want to score on the goals, this is my investment. This is our investment as a centre forward. The one we've put money into, the one who's young, the one who's French under-21s player, the one that we, as a football club, we've invested in, and other football clubs would go, we are going to leave you in the team. So for Betto, it's
clock's ticking.
The clock is ticking, because that contract as well.
Of course.
That contract running down. If he doesn't have like the season that he thinks he's capable of, Everton will just sell him in the summer. They're not going to give him another contract. And I do think,
unless he does really well.
No, that's what I mean. If he doesn't do well, he has
got 2 goals so far, but
one's against Mansfield. He played in 4 Premier League games and he scored 1 goal. I'm not saying that's terrible. What I'm saying is,
we need more, don't we?
You need more, and if you're walking out of a game with those kind of chances, other strikers would. So I just think it's I'm not having a go at him as such. I'm saying it's a different pressure for him this season. Pressure, He's now got the shirt, and well,
he's the senior striker. So we're looking at him, and it is those moments. And you're absolutely right. Other strikers are being criticised for missing 3 chances, and they're big. Whether you go,
they're match-winning chances, aren't they?
He gets the touch. Okay, we've allowed him the one in the second minute. He should have, in my opinion, he should be scoring it, or should be hitting the target. Then the thigh control when he's in behind, he's done the hard bit. He's got himself free. and can't control the ball. That to me is inexcusable, really, but it's happened and we've let them go. The cross from Garner, he's got to get something on. He flicks that in. I think if he just gets on it, it's a goal, right? We're 1-0 up. His confidence goes up. We've seen when he scores a goal, there's more energy and effort. And that puts Villa on the back foot. They're behind. They hadn't scored a goal this season. The goals will be tiny to them. Yeah. And we grow and the crowd get on. And Everton, for me, just the way the game is going, we would have steamrolled them then.
And then he had another chance where he had the chance to shoot and he tries to check back and it's taken off him. And it's like, just get a shot off.
Yeah.
Just get your shot off.
You could get a big deflection. It's in the back of the net, you know, when it's like we were up and running, you know. So it was a big moment. But you're right, the manager. I think Tim Abraham, just touching on him at the moment. I see a lot of good with Tim. I see a lad who's got good physique. I think he's good running with the ball. I just think he hasn't got a defined position at the minute, and that's the problem. And because Everton don't have someone who can sit behind him, I don't know what David Moyes is asking of him. Is he asking him to try to make sure he's not leaving the door open? Because you're right, at Wolves, we saw Dewsbury Hall running beyond Grealish, running beyond Betto, and therefore it gave Wolves issues. The second goal, he runs beyond, Grealish pops it in, he rolls it across and Jai taps it in. The third goal, he runs beyond, Grealish gives him, he smashes it in. That's his strengths, making them breaks. On Saturday, he didn't do it. I don't think he did it once.
He did it once. I think he did it once in the second half. He went to go past them once, I think, and that was it.
And we didn't, yeah. That was it. Because he was worried about McGinn getting on it and Tielemans getting on it, or Lutemans, whoever the announcer. It's Tielemans, he's played in the Premier League for years, not difficult. And, you know, that kind of thing, midfield. So, but the manager, and I think he had, seen a stat, and I don't know whether it's real or just seen a headline thing, he had fewer touches than Pickford. That was one of the things. If that's real, I don't know whether it is, I should have checked it before I brought it up. But if that's real, that's worrying, because he's in an area where you want your midfield players to get them touches. Check while I'm thinking. But I do like it, Abunum, and I do think he's got, I just think at the moment, he's one that probably needs to be taken out and put in and out, and maybe Wolves away is one of them in the cup. Build that confidence, build that position alone for him, because like I said, he looks to me as if he's a more attacking midfield player. Now,
Everton 28 touches, Pickford have 40.
Yeah, okay, so that's not great, is it? I mean, listen, I know, but that isn't really great. That's one of my James is showing us the studio, that's not working, but that's fine. That's not brilliant when you're in the middle of the park and you've got to get about and get in amongst it. But I just think for him, we've got to define his role for him. Is he an 8? Is he box to box? Is he someone who wants to play sort of where Dewsbury Hall's been doing? But David Moyes obviously had seen enough, and he brought Merlin Rowling for his debut. What did you sort of make of him when he came on?
I thought he was good. I thought he was really relaxed in the position. I thought he looked. I thought he looked straight away like he had command of his surroundings, and some players you come on and you see them and it's all too quick for them. Maybe the pace of the game was the right pace for them to come into, because it wasn't exactly like unbelievable. We were slow, they were slow. So I think it might have been a good tempo for him to come in, but I thought he acquitted himself really well. He won 2 out of 2 aerial duels, won 3 out of 6 ground duels. So I thought he acquitted himself really, really well. And looked like he was part of the team straight away, and I thought the manager giving him that level of confidence, I thought that was big as well. You've got other players there he could have brought on. You know, you got Carlos Alcaraz in there. You know, you got Asnu could have come on at left back and maybe put Garner back into midfield. So there are other options. So bring a lad in who's just signed on deadline days. You know, just obviously trained with the club for a couple of weeks or whatever. Then I thought he done well, and I'll be honest, I don't really see Tim Abraham getting an opportunity to play in that role again. He might get an opportunity to play in a different role, but I don't see him. If the makeup of the midfield is Dewsbury Hall and Adesina Gay, I don't think it's going to be Tim Abraham again, because I just don't think it works. I don't think it's ever worked. I see Tim Abraham as as in someone who wants to go forward. And that role for Everton to work, like we've just been talking about, you have to have a sitter. You have to have someone. The last time we had a make-up midfield like this was when we had James Garner, Gareth Barry and Ross Barkley.
James McCarthy. James McCarthy was doing the Idrissa Gana Gay kind of work. Barry was the number 6, and then you've got Barkley almost in like the Dewsbury Hall kind of role. I know, appreciate the slightly different, but somebody who wants to, a midfielder who wants to run past people, wants to run past the wide men and get involved.
And that was just not there on Saturday, and I thought that's where almost like I thought at times Grealish was waiting for him to come up and make that extra body and make that run. And as you said, we scored 2 at Wolves from Dewsbury Hall going past Jack Grealish, and no one done that on Saturday. And because we haven't got anyone in midfield who can get on the ball and switch it, we always looked left in the second half, and I think that was silly as well, because we can't afford to become a one-man team. We should never with the players with Njai, not a chance. Njai needs to get on the ball as much as Jack Grealish does, otherwise Njai he'll flit inside the game, and then maybe he won't look like he's having the best of times. But we can't become a one-man team.
No, there was definitely an urgency and a tendency to go left all the time, particularly as the game went on, when I thought we should have used Njai a bit more. He'd give Luca Dean a tough time, certainly in the first 45 minutes. And he's been key to what we've done well. Njai, he's already got a couple of goals. He's looked a real threat, and we should have used him more. And if he was suffering the effects of a knock that David Moyes had referenced on Friday in the press conference, then he should have took him off and put Tyler Dibbling on. That Dibbling is a young, exciting player we brought in. We'd spent enough weeks trying to get him. We got him in, and he's only played. He had a cameo of 25 minutes, half an hour against Mansfield, and then didn't get on the pitch at Wolves, didn't get on the pitch at the weekend. And I just wondered if maybe the manager got that wrong, and David Moyes has got very little wrong since he came back in. I just wonder if, and I understand it, he's probably looking thinking, Njai hasn't really done much, but he's capable of just getting you to goal, gets on the end of things and that. So I understand there might just be a tendency to go, he might just nick us something late on. Well, then get the instruction onto the pitch to use him a bit more then, because it was the last 20 minutes, it was all Grealish. And don't get me wrong, Jack Grealish still made 2 really presentable chances. He put a great ball in. Michael Keane's flashed a really good header, and Martinez has made a fantastic save. He has. Either side, it's a goal, but it wasn't. It's a brilliant save, and he pushes it onto the bar. And then, of course, that one in injury time, Grealish again just beats the man, stands it up, and Keane jumps too early, so therefore he heads it on the way down and can't direct it. But why didn't we use more of Njai? Because O'Brien got in a couple of times and that final ball wasn't right. Was that a frustration for you?
That was massively,
didn't go there?
Massively frustrating, because you think about the assists he's had so far. The first one against Brighton, it's quick, back post, knock in. Second one, obviously, we move it from the right to the left really quickly, lay it back, and it's, the first goal against Wolves, again, good crossing, bed it back, we've got men in the box. And his second assist for the third goal, he's on the move. Dewsbury Hall's going past him, so he's creating space, but he opts to use him. And even for the second goal at Wolves, it's Grealish on the ball, Dewsbury Hall going past him, creating that opportunity, putting it in, and then there's Njai. Whereas I just thought we were really slow. And that's not on Jack Grealish, that's because you could tell he was getting frustrated. We're giving him the ball, and then we're all just stopping and going, go on.
He'll do something.
Impress us, he'll do something. And no one then is moving, because the game just stops, and no one's moving in, and it had to be quicker. And I just think it's all the little bits. So I would have liked to have seen us just someone get on the ball and just move it to the right and get Njai on the ball, and then let Njai do something and then move it to the left, and just keep working them at different angles. And I don't think we did that enough. I think what Villa actually did, if you're going to credit Villa with something, is after about 20 minutes they started to press our centre-backs, I thought, and that meant we had to go back to the goalkeeper more. And when we went back to the goalkeeper more, we're obviously going, the whole team has to drop deeper to start again. And instead of having getting it back to the centre-backs, and then they move it into a nice area. And you're always, or having a number 6 who sits in front of the back 4 that they can give it to. And that's another difference, isn't it? Without Garner in there, the centre-backs don't have that player to give it to.
I hate us trying to play out when we do it slow, because we always end up going back to Jordan Pickford. He kicks it anyway.
Exactly.
So it's almost like, well, I tell you what, it's going to end up tossing a 50-50 anyway. Let's go and play 30 yards up the pitch and just toss it up anyway. And I think and then we'll get on the end of it.
But that's the difference, because Timmy Abunim isn't that good on the ball.
Is he?
And Adissa Gay keeps it nice and tidy. He's not going to try and try those clever passes. So if the centre-backs haven't got that number 6 to give it to, and they're like, oh, I don't really want this, they're just going to turn around and back to the keeper. Everyone drops 20 yards and you have to take all again. And I think that was another issue. It's just the makeup of the team. And that's, to me, why James Garner really can't play left-back ever again. And I was really disappointed he played left-back on Saturday. But that's just sick.
He had a good game.
That's just sick. No, he had a great game. But that's just circumstance again of as we've gone back to before.
I think what Villa did, and Emery's brilliant at this, they felt like, and I hope I'm not being disrespectful, because I think they're a really good side, but he come for a point, come not to get beat. And I think in the second half, they just had 10 men behind the ball, so they just blocked the spaces off. We talked about this before. We've seen this with Mansfield. When Mansfield had 10 men behind the ball and Everton moved the ball slowly.
Seen enough of it with Dyche.
I know, but what I'm saying is, and I always go back to, this isn't just like a Dyche thing. I remember when we played Boreham Wood, when Lampard was the manager, when those teams are really well drilled, and we've done this under Dyche at really good teams, haven't you? If you sit with 10 men behind the ball,
David Goodison,
and no, but what I mean is, when teams sit, if the opposition who are on the ball and in the ascendancy move the ball slowly, it's easy to defend against. It's dead easy to defend against. And this is what Villa did really. But they had 10 men behind the ball. But Everton were just walking pace out to Grealish. He's stopping it. It's not on him. If people aren't moving for him, what does he do? He's going to keep it to buy you time, looking for runners. If people aren't running, that's why he's like shimmying. Are you coming? And people are walking up, go ahead, Jack, create something out of nothing. Well, he can't if you aren't making runs around the side or crossing over. And I think when you've got a team as good as Villa who are going to sit in front of you and are really well drilled, you do have to move it quickly out to Njai. And we saw this with the Brighton game. How did we get the second goal? Ball's played in, Barry plays a little ball into Njai, goes, and Njai gives him it back. It comes back, Garner switches the play. They're having to be dragged across. Grealish kills it, lays it back, and James Garner whacks it in. And you've moved the team quickly from one side to the other. It's got you a bit of an overload. It's opened up and it's in the back of the net. We never really
how much of that is confidence in your centre forward then to play it into him and for him to hold on to it and get it into...
Well, yeah, but is Barry's touch being perfect? No, but what Barry done and does really well, better than what Betto does, he ain't afraid to play a cushion first time ball. So the Brighton one comes up to him and he jumps in mid-air and flicks it. We've seen it for the first goal against Brighton. It's played in, he takes it one way and reverses it and gets taken, and it opens up all the space. Betto's a little bit more agricultural. Betto's a bit more arms, and he'll battle, and he's shoving Contra out the way and all that. So you have to move the ball quicker in midfield. Maybe it was Dewsbury Hall's responsibility then to go over and get the ball off Grealish and switch the play. Roll was busy trying to get round, trying to do pirouettes in the box, which was great to see. And it's this. But I just think it's probably a fullback issue, really.
What about the one, there was one right at the beginning of the second half, and Dewsbury Hall did, and Grealish got the ball, and they were playing like they were trying to be too clever, like something you do when you're
little flicks.
You were trying to something you do when you're 3-0 up. And it's like, just fucking someone have a shot. They were like, that's people enjoying themselves.
Well, there was one right at the start of this. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was just after the Buendia chance. We broke. And it was a lovely little move. And it got played to Grealish, and the whole thing was on to just whip it far post. And he didn't. He stopped it and then dragged it back and was looking with he was trying to play the right ball, but I'm just thinking, Jack, it's opened up. Just whip it. And if he saves it, it's no problem. If it goes in the south stand, no problem. Just have a go. But I would have liked to seen us move it quicker. We did bring Tierno Barry on for Betto. I personally don't think he gave him long enough. He gave him 15 minutes. I'd have probably taken Betto off 10 minutes before that. Like you said, he'd had that moment where he Moyes played in on the right side, just smash it. He doesn't, he checks back, it's taken off him. He was done then. You can tell with Betto, it's sort of, you know what, that when he's done. And Barry come on and he had a good opportunity. Born out of Idrissa Gana Gay. Pressing, and then nicking a 50-50. Merlin Roll plays a lovely little ball, slides real ball in. It holds up. It needed to be probably a bit ahead of him, and he's running in on the angle. He gets a shot away, deflects into the side netting. It's a good run, but he's got to be ready with that and use that acceleration. He sort of slowed down a little bit as well.
I was actually saying to like people next to me, I was like, isn't he faster than that?
I have seen him run faster than that, but he's sort of done that thing. It's like a confidence thing of like, I just want the ball into my feet.
I don't want to take a bad touch and run past this.
Yeah, it's like that thing where if he's confident, you've seen it, if you watched any of it, Villarreal, he was very much a come short, play it, spinning, and they give him it and he was in behind, and maybe it was on his right hand side he'd have done it because it was on the left. You know, when we get the corners were dreadful. You know, and then we had that big moment from Michael Keane right at the death where it stood up and he just jumps under it, and you look and thinking that was the moment.
Well, he'd already had one saved, hadn't he, in the second half.
That was a brilliant save
by Martinez, who was always going to be the difference.
Should we talk just briefly about Simon Hooper?
I mean, yeah, if you want.
Because he was absolutely diabolical, wasn't he?
What he was really bad at, which was really good for Villa, was just breaking up the game. Like breaking up the game, like giving fouls for things that weren't fouls, and then not giving fouls for things that were fouls, but with the same thing. Like share pulling, I thought share pulling was an instant yellow card. There was one quite early on.
Yeah, there was.
He pulled someone back, but like when Dia should have been sent off. I mean, that's a terrible challenge. 2-footed scissor action, that's a sending off. He was just terrible. He was just he was so bad for just disrupting the flow of the game. He was so bad. I've
seen him so many times in other games that don't involve Everton, and he's been terrible of like ruining the game almost. And one thing at one end's a foul and the same action at the other isn't, and you're like, how are you, like, what are you seeing? Now, forget about Everton, just other games, you're like, what are you seeing? That's exactly the same. Why have you not given it? And I just think he's dreadful.
He just didn't have any control. It's like when Luca Dean went off with the head injury, he went over and told them to go away, move away, and then he just stood there and he just played on with the game.
Carried on, yeah.
It was like they were literally standing in the eye line of loads of our players. You're like, what are you doing? It's like no control.
Well, there was one where Grealish just below me, Gassand it was, he didn't really do much, but below me, Grealish just won the ball, just like poked the ball, he fell over and he gave a free kick, and you're like, Grealish went running after him, I'm thinking, you've been booked, don't. But he won the ball, you could see, he just poked the ball, the lad's just gone with me, and it was like, what the he's just...
This is why donuts are so expensive.
It is.
Because you throw them,
you want,
but
you
then
would.
You go, no, I'm not going to afford to throw that.
No chance. And that's it, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful with these things. So, you know, a frustrating day in the end, like we said. You know, but we've had Brighton and Villa at home the first 2 games, and you look and think they were difficult games start of the season, and we've got 4 points out of them and haven't conceded
well,
the goals.
I did see someone, I saw a segment someone wrote, I don't know who it was, and to be fair, it wasn't a very good write-up about us, but it did say Everton shouldn't have got 3 points against Brighton and should have got 3 points against Villa, so it sort of balanced itself out.
But then we should have got something to lead.
There is but it's my own game. There is slight merit to that, I guess. That's football for you, isn't it? That's football.
But we could have scored 6 against Brighton. They could have
scored 12 as well.
Yeah. No, it's fair comment.
I think the frustrating thing is that obviously it's a game we should have won and we didn't. But what I enjoyed was the fact that we kept going. I enjoyed that there was, you know, there was a sense within the ground of, there wasn't that thing at 0-0 of, we'll just take this. We're playing Villa. There was a feeling of like, no, play, 5 minutes went up and
keep going.
There wasn't that thing of like, Everton fans they want us to win the game.
But the manager doesn't. The manager's instilled that. You keep going, you can win, every game's winnable. He's done unbelievable, Moyes. You know, he's made a mockery of other people's comments about him and other managers in the past that have been in the dugout at Everton, but He's been brilliant, and the crowd, the team went for it, and the crowd were behind him, and it was just one of those days. And I think the fans showed that at the end. They appreciated them trying to win the game, and you know, we've said it on other things, but we walked out of Moyes' first game with a 1-0 defeat at Goodison by Villa, and you were like, we'd have been made up with a 0-0 that night. And how far we've come in 8 months, that we're walking out against a very good side, going disappointed we didn't win that. So that's, you know, when Everton were the dominant team, it wasn't just the day of we could have won that, we deserved to win it. You know, they were hanging on for a point and very happy with the point. So that's a big testament, I think, to how well Everton did. I thought Idrissa Gana Gueye was brilliant again on Saturday. Just everywhere. So just let's have a little look at his numbers. 52 touches of the ball, at a 90% passing accuracy, 2 tackles, he had 6 ball recoveries and won 60% of his ground duels, and at 35, he's 36 this month, shows no signs of slowing down. And it's so many times he just nicks the ball when you think there's no chance of him getting there. He's calm in possession, and he's been a brilliant signing, hasn't he? And obviously we got him from Villa, but he's been a fantastic signing.
Got him from PSG.
Second time.
Yeah. When he was when he went up a level then.
Yeah.
Brilliant player. We all know. Anyone who doesn't understand he's a brilliant player doesn't understand football.
That is correct. That's correct. Another player I wanted to single out because I thought he was excellent again and his numbers backed it up was James Garner, who had a brilliant game. You're right, we've missed him in midfield, but he created 4 chances on Saturday. 90% passing accuracy, brilliant. 4 tackles, 3 ball recoveries, but look at his ground duels. 6 out of 6 ground duels. And he was up against, you know, they had Rodgers went out there for a bit, it didn't really work for him. They had Evan Gesang come on, and I like him, but he didn't sort of have any joy out there. Buendia didn't really have any joy out there either. So I thought he had I thought he was really good, James Garner. You're right, we did miss him in the midfield because it changed the makeup of that midfield and maybe the roles. That's particularly Dewsbury Hall, but he did do a brilliant job sitting in at left back for us.
Yeah, it did, but as I've already mentioned, it does unstable the whole team. It's not his fault. And I don't even think it's David Moyes' fault. It's just, we know that going forward now we have to be ready. We have to be ready to sign players. And
it's up to Asnu now to step up as well. Asnu's got to be. And listen, he's a young lad, he's only just come in. We're going to go with him yet, but hopefully we're going to see him.
We will have a go with him at some point, but just not yet.
No, hopefully he'll build himself up.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we want him to be.
I'm actually sort of stressing the importance of being patient, is that we're still very early in the season and these things will sort themselves out, hopefully in time for when the season gets ridiculously hectic and obviously we lose players going to the AFCON and we have injuries.
Resting, don't they?
So it is important to stress that early on in the season can be frustrating. Luckily, it hasn't been as frustrating as it has been in previous seasons. Things do take time, and when you bring new signings in, it's also important that people are given opportunity to bed into the football club. And when the manager believes it's right, if you back a manager and the manager's making decisions, don't get me wrong, we can all say, well, maybe we'd like to have seen Carlos Alcaraz come on Saturday with 20 minutes to go, or even in the last 5 minutes to just inject that little bit of energy. But then you can just start going, well, who do you bring off? Who is the player? The manager has to start making those tough decisions as we go along. Do you take a Dewsbury Hall off for Carlos Alcaraz? Do you go, Jack, just isn't your day today, mate, come off, we'll put Jai over there and we'll put Devlin on? That will be, it's trust, isn't it? And Moyes has always been so big on that trust thing. Always. It's such an important thing. And what you do is you get to a point where it's before you know it, the manager's making 4 subs. 3 or 4 subs. But let's not forget, when we were at Wolves, we made a sub that nearly cost us winning that game because it just switched the momentum for a couple of minutes. And they took full advantage of that. And the manager's trying to build points early on.
Well, it takes the pressure off for the rest of the season, doesn't it? We're already seeing, we were 5th, we didn't win the game and we just went to 6th, that was it. But we're still right in the mix. And that, if we can build on this, and okay, we've got a really tough game at the weekend. we'll see how that goes. But then we've got 2 home games, and for me, 6 points. We've got to get 6 points. If we get 6 points from those 2 home games on the run, West Ham and Palace, we'll be in a fantastic position, and a position that'll carry us through the season, because we'll
the pressure.
Exactly, and you can play it from a different angle, can't you then, and different pressures. Let's have a look at the overall match stats anyway from the game. There you go. Everton 20 attempts at goal to Aston Villa 7, but just 2 on target.
That's
for the
disappointing, isn't it?
1 for Villa. Not on there. Everton had 3 big chances. Aston Villa had none. The XG 2.08 to 0.54.
Yeah.
And the possession is the problem. 48%.
Well, their goalie had a lot of the ball.
He did.
I don't know if you seen that.
He did have a lot of
He was time wasting after about 5 minutes.
He's classic at that. He's the classic.
But not stupid enough to time waste when the ball was in play.
No,
so it
he was just moving it around. And what he loved was, and the linesman never picked him up on it, he loved not taking a goal kick on the line like you're supposed to. He loved taking it a foot away from the 6-yard box, and the linesman couldn't be asked picking him up on it. So fair play. Martinez is one of them. When he's yours, you love him and you hate him.
No, I've got no problem with Martinez.
But he's a good goalie. He's a good goalie. There you go. 0-0. Again, we keep saying it. Villa are a good side, but it's disappointing because they haven't really caught fire yet this season, and it just feels like a little bit of a frustration.
We're saving our goals for Saturday.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Fair play.
That's what I've been told.
Are we going to be saying, if you'd have offered me 4 points out of Villa, Liverpool, I'd have bit your hand off.
Yeah.
Fair play. That's what we're doing. We're due a massively lucky late winner at Anfield, aren't we? Or just a 4-0 win at Anfield, but G one of them as well.
Absolutely.
Anything's possible.
Is it though?
Don't know. There you go. Let us know. We're continuing live on Premier now, but for everybody else, unless you want to join us on Premier, the link's in the description, QR code's on the screen. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you later.